Hello? Hello? Hopefully my phone doesn't die. Well, let's hurry then. Judges 18. In those days, there was no king of Israel. And in those days, the tribe of the Danites was seeking an inheritance for themselves to live in. For until that day, an inheritance had not been allotted to them as a possession among the tribes of Israel. So the sons of Dan sent their family 5 men out of their whole number, valiant men from Zorah and Eshtal, to spy out the land and to explore it. And they said to them, "Go, explore the land." And they came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and stayed overnight there. When they were near the house of Micah, they recognized the voice of the young man, the Levite. And they turned aside there and said to him, "Who brought you here? And what are you doing in this place? And what do you have here?" He said to them, "Micah has done this and that for me, and he has hired me, and I have become his priest." Then they said to him, "Inquire of God, please, that we may know whether our way on which we are going will be successful." And the priest said to them, "Go in peace. Your way in which you are going has the Lord's approval." So the 5 men departed and came to Laish, and saw the people who were in it living in security, in the way of the Sidonians, quiet and unsuspecting. For there was no oppressive ruler humiliating them for anything in the land. And they were far from Sidonians, and had no dealings with anyone. When they came back to their brothers at Zorah and Eshtal, their brothers said to them, "What do you say?" And they said, "Arise, and let's go up against them. For we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. Arise, and let's go up against them. For we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And will you sit still? Yeah, well, maybe they're saying, like, are we going to do this or what? Do not hesitate to go, to enter, to take possession of the land. When you enter, you will come to an unsuspecting people with a spacious land. For God has handed it over to you, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth." Then from the family of the Danites, from Zorah and from Eshtal, 600 men armed with weapons of war set out. They went up and camped in Kiriath Jearim in Judah. Therefore they called that place Mahana Dan to this day. Behold, it is west of Kiriath Jearim. And they passed from there to the hill country of Ephraim, and came to the house of Micah. Then the 5 men who went to spy out the land of Laish said to their kinsmen, Do you know that there are in these houses an ephod and household idols and a carved image and a cast metal image? Now then, consider what you should do." So they turned aside there and came to the house of the young man, the Levite, to the house of Micah, and asked him how he was doing. Meanwhile, the 600 men armed with their weapons of war, who were of the sons of Dan, were positioned at the entrance of the gate. Now the 5 men who went to spy out the land went up and entered there. They took the carved image and ephod, the household idols, and the cast metal image, while the priest was standing at the entrance of the gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. When these men entered Micah's house and took the carved image, the ephod, household idols, and the cast metal image, the priest said to them, "What are you doing?" And they said to him, "Be silent. Put your hand over your mouth and go with us, and be to us a father and a priest. It is better for you to be a priest to the house of one man. Is it better for you to be a priest to the house of one man, or to be a priest to a tribe and a family in Israel?" The priest's heart was glad, and he took the ephod, the household idols, and the carved image, and went among the people. Then they turned and left, and put the children, the livestock, and the valuables in front of them. When they had distanced themselves from Micah's house, the men who were in the houses near Micah's house assembled by command and overtook the sons of Dan. Then they called out to the sons of Dan, who turned around and said to Micah, "What is the matter with you, that you have assembled together?" And he said, "You have taken my gods which I made, and the priest. You have taken the gods which I made and the priest, and have gone away. What more do I have? So how can you say to me, What is the matter with you?" Then the sons of Dan said to him, "Do not let your voice be heard among us, or else fierce men will attack you, and you will lose your life, and the lives of your household. So the sons of Dan went on their way, and Micah saw that they were too strong for him. He turned and went back to his house. Poor Micah. They robbed him and left. Okay, I get it. My phone's going to die. Then they took what Micah had made and the priest who had belonged to him, and came to Laish, to a people quiet and unsuspecting, and struck them with the edge of the sword, and they burned the city with fire. And there was no one to save them, because it was far from Sidon, and they had no dealings with anyone. And it was in the valley which is near Beth Rahab. So they rebuilt the city and lived in it. And they named the city Dan, after the name of Dan, their father, who was born to Israel. However, the name of the city was previously Laish. The sons of Dan set up for themselves the carved image, and Jonathan, the son of Gershon, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of the Danites until the day of the captivity of the land. So they set up for themselves Micah's carved image, which he had made all the time that the house of God was in Shiloh. Judges 19. Now it came about in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite staying in the remote part of the hill country of Ephraim, who took a concubine for himself from Bethlehem in Judah. But his concubine found him repugnant, and she left him and went to her father's house in Bethlehem in Judah, and remained there for a period of 4 months. Then her husband set out and went after her to speak gently to her in order to bring her back, taking with him his servant and a pair of donkeys. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the girl's father saw him, he was glad to meet him. His father-in-law, the girl's father, prevailed upon him, and he remained with him for 3 days. So they ate and drank and stayed there. Now on the 4th day they got up early in the morning, and he prepared to go. But the girl's father said to his son-in-law, "Strengthen yourself with a piece of bread, and afterward you may go." So both of them sat down and ate and drank together. And the girl's father said to the man, "Please be so kind as to spend the night, and let your heart be cheerful." However, the man got up to go, but his father-in-law urged him, and he spent the night there again. Now on the 5th day he got up to go early in the morning. But the girl's father said, "Please strengthen yourself and wait until late afternoon." So both of them ate. When the man got up to go, along with his concubine and servant, his father-in-law, the girl's father, said to him, "Behold, the day has grown to a close. Please spend the night. Behold, the day is coming up to an end. Spend the night here, so that your heart may be cheerful. Then tomorrow you may arise early for your journey and go home." But the man was unwilling to spend the night, so he got up and left, and came to a place opposite Jebus. And with him was a pair of saddled donkeys. His concubine also was with him. When they were near Jebus, the day was almost gone, and the servant said to his master, "Please come, and let us turn aside into the city of the Jebusites and spend the night in it." However, his master said to him, "We will not turn aside into a city of foreigners, who are not of the sons of Israel. Instead, we will go on as far as Gibeah." And he said to his servant, "Come, and let's approach one of these places, and we will spend the night in Gibeah or Ramah." So they passed along and went their way, and the sun set on them near Gibeah, which belongs to Benjamin. They turned aside there to enter and spend the night in Gibeah. When they entered, they sat down in the public square of the city, for no one took them into his house to spend the night. Then behold, an old man was coming out of the field from his work at evening. Now the man was from the hill country of Ephraim, and he was staying in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjamites. And he raised his eyes and saw the traveler in the public square of the city. And the old man said, "Where are you going, and where do you come from?" And he said to him, "We are passing from Bethlehem in Judah to the remote part of the hill country of Ephraim, for I am from there. And I went to Bethlehem in Judah, but I am now going to my house, and no one will take me into his house. Yet there is both straw and feed for our donkeys, and also bread and wine for me and your female slave, and the young man who is with you, and who is with your servants. There is no lack of anything." Then the old man said, "Peace to you, only let me take care of all your needs. However, do not spend the night in the public square." So he took him into his house and fed the donkeys, and they washed their feet and ate and drank. While they were celebrating, behold, the men of the city, certain worthless men, surrounded the house, pushing one another at the door. And they spoke to the owner of the house, the old man, saying, Bring out the man who entered your house, that we may have relations with him. Yo, settle down, buddy. That's not it. That's not it at all. Then the owner of the house, went out to them and said to them, No, my brothers, please do not act so wickedly. Since this man has come into my house, do not commit this vile sin. Here is my virgin daughter and the man's concubine. Please let me bring them out. Then rape them and do to them whatever you wish. But do not commit this act of vile sin against this man. It's all vile. Don't let any of it happen. But the men would not listen to him. So the man seized his concubine and brought her outside to them. And they raped her and abused her all night until morning, and let her go to the approach of dawn. It's horrible. Just horrible. As the day began to dawn, the woman came and fell down at the doorway of the man's house, where her master was, until full daylight. When her master got up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go on his way, then behold, his concubine was lying at the doorway of the house with her hands on the threshold. And he said to her, Get up and let's go. But there was no answer. Then he put her on the donkey, and the man set out and went to his home. When he entered his house, he took a knife and seized his concubine, and cut her in 12 pieces, limb by limb. Then he sent her throughout the territory of Israel. All who saw it said, Nothing like this has ever happened or been seen from the day when the sons of Israel came up from the land of Egypt to this day. Consider it, make a plan, and speak up. That's crazy. They will be punished. You had to let everybody know, like, hey, we gotta go cook this town, this whole village going down, except the old man who took him in. That's insane. If they didn't, they'd probably all be killed. Not okay. Sometimes it's hard to read. Have a nice day, though.